Seems Kathy's been keeping this running 100,000 miles past its prime. I hope she's not running short on money. The old bar sign. Reminds me of when Nick and I were still kids. Might as well talk to Walter. I'll have to sooner or later. Whoever said you can judge someone by their car never met Tara. Same old town, same old bar. The more things change.
Yeah? Yes, the cat food is under the sink. Yes, yes it is, Mother. Trust me. Oh, Samuel is here. I'll call you back. Samuel Higgs, as I live and breathe. Has it really been over 2 years? Regardless, I'm so glad you finally made it. It's good to see you. What kept you?
A trip down memory lane. I missed the funeral, but I made it to Nick's wake.
You have to bring it in for a hug. It's a Basswood back in town requirement. So good to see you, even if I wish the circumstances were different. In times like these, we need the comforting touch of others. At least I do. Also, have you spoken to Anna lately?
No, why?
No reason. If you get the chance, we should catch up. We should really catch up. I'll see you inside.
That smile she had when I gave it to her. She could barely get on it back then. One of Nick's favorite matchups. Might be the first game he'll miss. I haven't read an issue of this paper since I left. I wonder how they've been doing without me. Must have been a hard issue to write. Ugh, I'm not ready for this. Here we go.
Mr. Samuel Higgs, big shot investigative reporter.
Didn't think you'd ever be back in here.
I'd gladly slash your tires. Would that mean you couldn't leave town? And you are leaving town right after this, right? As if you aren't. Well, Nick's memory only goes so far. Mr. Samuel Higgs, big shot investigative reporter.
Didn't think you'd ever be back in here.
I'd gladly slash your tires. Would that mean you couldn't leave town? And you are.
Just really embracing those hick stereotypes, huh, Joel?
Gentlemen. We get you good old boys another round.
Mighty kind of you, Declan.
You're not worth it, Higgs. Making friends already, I see.
Declan, been a while.
Hey, careful. I'd rather not be working tonight. And you always seem to angry up everyone's blood.
I plan to be out of here by morning. Don't want to stay any more than you want me here.
Don't rush out of here on their account, but maybe don't dawdle either. You watch yourself.
I think it's time. I go put up a photo at the memorial board. That's what people do, right? Declan lacks subtlety, but he loves this town like no one else.
You always did know how to start a ruckus. Can't say I missed that.
Old-timers in general already don't like me, and the article just made it worse.
Hey, Sam, why don't you drink to Nick on the other side of the bar?
That's where Nick and I sat every time he dragged me out for drinks after work.
That's the guy who got the mine closed.
Sammy! Oh, it's been ages.
Tara?
Oh, me? I've had this stomach thing lately, always churning. And this thing with Nick, his car went up like a Sunday ham. He burned alive, you know. Have you met Hugh? He took over the old pharmacy just after you left.
No.
The infamous Sam. I've read that article you wrote on the mine. You must have put in a lot of legwork on that.
It isn't something I talk about, especially here.
Understandable. Maybe some other time. Don't hesitate to drop by the pharmacy sometime.
Oh, and Sam, you...
But for now, I have a feeling you're not here for us.
Oh, right. Don't be a stranger, Sam.
But no more than 3,000 milligrams a day.
I thought it was 4,000.
Pretty courageous of him to try his luck in
That's
Basswood,
what
given the state of
trophy
things.
pharmacists want you to believe. But that amount is damaging in the long term.
Pretty courageous of him to try his luck in Basswood, given the state of things. Bess always had a soft spot for Nick. I think she liked his work ethic. Can't believe this whole thing's still working.
Daddy, 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 open your eyes and wake up. The kids and I've been busy, and we got a little something for you that's gonna make you smile all day. Daddy, 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 daddy. But when the lights are out, it's time for me to show you my love. And I've got a feeling you've been pleased. So, daddy, 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 sit yourself down. Now you should
Nick and I spent so much money on this machine. I've never known Tara to not take over a conversation.
So tragic what happened to Nick. The details are horrible. They think he didn't die on impact. Instead, he roasted to death. Not enough to damage the bones, but you know, not a pretty sight. Unless you're into that kind of thing, of course. I didn't mean to be rude, Sam.
It's all right, Tara. I don't like the sight of dead, burned people.
Oh, thank God. I wouldn't want to be rude on a day like this. Poor Sam. Now that Nick is gone, everyone in town hates you. I mean, I don't. Why would I? It's not my job you destroyed. You're not the cause of all my problems. I mean, that's what you did for pretty much all of Basswood, but not to me. So, I don't hate you.
Thanks for the confidence booster, Tara. I'll see you around. It's supposedly the spirit of coal. Doesn't really belong here anymore.
I didn't know you read Dickens, Ethan.
Not really. You just quoted him a couple of times.
He's owned this bar for almost a decade and still can't afford another employee.
Then you should read Great Expectations. It's a masterpiece, plain and simple.
Walter can be overwhelming at times, but he means well.
So, I had to throw them all out on their ear, and only then did I realize.
Ah, Samuel, my favorite ex-muckracker. Join us, join us.
How was the funeral?
Wasn't there. Setting up for this.
Everyone came, most of the town, it felt like. A sea of sad, wet eyes. I gave the eulogy. Felt hollow. So hollow. He worked for me for years. For years. My best reporter. What do you even say about him?
He loved people, sharing things, having fun together. Take video games. He didn't even care if it was some cooking game or shooting game or what, as long as we were playing together.
I always prefer my games analog. Chess, Go. You two did seem to bond over them, though.
It's the small things. Like he always kept his window down. Said cars made him claustrophobic. That's how he stays with us. The little details.
I remember the bar bets about that safe spot in Pac-Man. He got me one night.
Yeah, got me once too. Can't believe it's real.
Enough about Nicholas, enough. Tell me, how have you been, Sam? How have you really been?
I spend all day doing nothing. I don't even count days, they just blur together. Nick's death barely hit me. It was like a pinprick compared to just everything.
Time heals most wounds. Some it just makes worse. Sounds like you need something to pull you out of your rut.
Well, I think I've taken enough of your gent's time.
Go, mingle, circulate, but you must join us for an actual round later. You must.
Oh, Walter, can I ask you something?
Questions are the fountainhead of knowledge.
Nick's crash. Was there anything suspicious about it?
I asked myself the same thing. The very same thing. It did seem odd. Young Nicholas, a careful man in all things, including driving. I looked into it myself, you know what I found?
What?
A tragic accident with nothing amiss. I am both relieved and saddened to say.
Ah,
Life is rarely like a crime thriller, and while I don't mind you asking, some might find it a distasteful conversation at a man's memorial. Especially from you.
I'll keep that in mind.
See that you do, my boy. See that you do.
Declan lacks subtlety, but he loves this town like no one else.
So, Sam, how's life been treating you?
Well enough, I guess. I got a roof over my head. Can't really complain.
Where'd you end up? You ran so fast after the mine closed, no one knew where you went.
Just someplace out of state. Kind of a fresh start.
You staying in town long?
Not really. Why? You think I'm gonna disturb the peace or something?
Wouldn't be your first time. Have a nice evening, Sam.
You'd think a kid at a bar would stand out more.
Everyone here seemed to really like my dad.
Of course they did, Bug.
Everyone's nice in that creepy way. It's weird. Even Anna's weird.
People don't really know what to say, but they genuinely liked your dad. So even if they're weird and clumsy, it comes from a good place.
Now you sound all weird and clumsy.
Don't I always?
Do you ever just watch people?
It's pretty much all I do.
Me too. But I don't always like what I see.
Some people can play this game drunk. Anna was best at 3 beers. There was no love lost between Kathy and Nick since their divorce, but anyone can see she's taking his death hard. Kathy,
Sam, you actually came.
it's been too long, Kathy.
Has it? Joan was really hurt when you left town. Nick and I were never close after the breakup, and Joan's never had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Maybe don't break her heart this time when you leave town. All right?
Hard to make promises. I don't do well with those in Joan.
I've noticed.
But I'll try.
Sam, I'm gonna hold you to that.
You're a lot like Pac-Man, Sam.
I consume everything in my path.
You find every last bite. The mine closing wasn't your fault. Your investigation just hurried things up. You probably saved some lives, you know.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Muley.
You piece of...
Language.
Is that a wedding ring?
I didn't know you were thinking about marriage.
Oh, it's just... It feels like the right thing to do.
Dad, what's the point of getting married?
Well, it's just one of those things people do, Bug. Here, you can play.
Someone has to show you grown-ups. Video games are the realm of the young.
Have you talked to Anna about this?
That's kind of the point. I'll talk to her about it when I show her the ring.
If you say so. Hey, just remember I'm here, right? If you need anything. Anything but my arcade secrets. Those I'll take to the grave.
Sorry we lost touch. Sorry I lost touch. Rest up, big guy. This photo always looked weird. Nick could never keep a straight face. He was more her best friend than a dad. Look at us. Those two were a great team. We drove straight to the sea after work on a Friday. Hell of a weekend. Bug was so small back then. Happier times.
Samuel, guess I lost the bet.
Bet?
Yeah, that bet you'd never come back to Basswood? Not after you went careening out of town like a bat out of hell the instant that article broke bad.
That wasn't the reason I left town.
Oh, you think it was that girl of yours? You left because the town hated your guts.
What are you even doing here, Dennis? You and Nick become friends or something?
Nope. He thought I was a drunk, which I am. And I thought he was a hack, which he was.
This coming from the IT guy. Didn't know resetting passwords could give you a journalism degree.
It can. But it does give me less patience for people who sling mud my way. Relax. I'm just playing. At least tell me how you been.
Yeah, like you'd care.
Not too much. But suit yourself if you want to be like that. Anyway, cheers to Nick. A man that, unlike us, people actually liked. Speaking of which...
As time
Anna used to play it almost every night. She stopped after her father's accident. Has it really been 2 years since I saw her? She hasn't changed a bit. Anna?
Sam! Sorry. Old habits. Why'd it take so long for you to darken my doorstep?
I won't lie, it really hurt coming back. I stopped by Lookout Point on the way here.
Sam, why'd you do that to yourself?
A desire to open old wounds? The old-timers gave me hell when I came in, too.
People around here have short tempers,
And long memories.
but most of them mean well. Sam, the mine was gonna close anyways. Maybe in a year or 2, 5, if the Lord has a sense of humor. It was gonna run dry or have an even bigger disaster. It wasn't your fault.
I wish everyone else understood that.
People are scared. Mad. You were easy to blame. When my father lost his legs, nobody knew the mine wasn't following regulations. You were the only one who started asking questions. Whenever people talk about you, he always says, you did the right thing.
Yeah, well, your dad's Joe. He's an oak. Unmoving and annoyingly supportive.
It wasn't just him. Nick thought your piece was great. He was actually jealous. He always wanted to write something that shook the pillars of heaven, as he used to put it. You know, Nick and I had moved in together. It started to get serious. But I think it's only now I realize how much I cared for him.
Yeah. That's, you two must be so hard.
Are you okay? You knew about us, right? He said he was gonna tell you.
Yeah, I knew, but knowing and, knowing are different.
Yeah, I guess they are. But this was all nice. The funeral, the wake. Walter did a good job. But it all just makes me feel heavy. It makes my heart hurt. Like Nick's memory has been laid on top of me and I'm still carrying him.
It's hard for me to really just wrap my head around it. Nick being gone.
Smart. Don't rock the boat when the person in the boat just lost a loved one.
It's big. I can't get my head around it either. His stuff is all over my house, but he's just missing. Things without an owner. Most of it I'll probably give to Joan and Kathy, the throwaway. I don't even know. Sam, I'm tired, and if I'm gonna drink and cry, I wanna do it alone. I played that stupid, stupid song like I told myself I would. He said, or he used to say, it made him ache. I did it, and I'm going home. We need to catch up, though. Let's meet for coffee tomorrow and talk. Really talk. 9:30?
Yeah, maybe.
I'll be at the cafe across from the paper, Christina's. It was honestly nice seeing you.
Samuel, come. Have a round with me.
I need a drink or two. Or 3, and then I'll go.